And now we got white. White commons. We start with Airy Auxiliary. For 3 and a white, it's a 3/3 flyer that has support 2. Support 2 means it puts a +1/+1 counter on 2 other target creatures. On each of up to, right? So you can put it on 1. This is sick. This would... now when we get into the colors, when we go out of these weird colorless cards that we still gotta figure out, now you can see the power creep and how powerful the commons are in Modern Horizons sets. This is where you see it. Like in any set, this would be like a bomb card, the best common ever. In this set, it's great, but it's not exactly that. It's not like completely breaks the game. It's extremely powerful still. So white cares about modified. We said already that white, green, and black are the archetypes that care about modified creatures, so that's nice. But even if you don't care about it, you got a 3/3 flyer, which is fine, and then you upgraded your 2-drop in a 3-drop, you upgraded your 3-drop in a 4-drop. Usually that's somehow how it works. Way better than Basri's Acolyte, right? Because that was a 2/3 lifelinker, this is a 3/3 flyer. Incredible card. I'm gonna go with a B for this one.
Oh.
You put any amount of this in your deck and you just play aggro and win.
It's really good. It's definitely one of the better commons.
This is gonna mess up like slower strategies. What do you give it?
B minus.
B minus because it's Modern Horizons set?
Yeah, this would be a B in a normal set.
A B in a normal set? I think this would be A minus in a normal set.
That's some stuff.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I think it's a valid take.
Like with multiples of these, you never stop attacking. And then you also have flying threats. I can see it going down because it's Modern Horizons set, but it really feels so good.
This card is really good. I think we're both in agreement. This card's really good.
So no synergy is great. More synergy, it's even better.
Dog Umbra, 1 and a white. An enchantment aura, flash. Enchant creature. As long as another player controls enchanted creature, it can't attack or block. Otherwise, Dog Umbra has Umbra Armor. Umbra Armor says that if enchanted creature be destroyed, instead remove all damage from it and destroy this aura. So basically, this can be used as a shield, right? Mm-hmm. Essentially a shield to protect a creature, like if your opponent's trying to remove it. Or you put it on something and it can't attack or block. Notably speaking, it can use abilities, it can use activated abilities, and it doesn't take away abilities, so they still have their static effects, right? They'll still have all of that. Let's evaluate both sides. How good is 2 mana flash, something can't attack or block? In my opinion,
pacifism, right?
Yeah, pacifism. How good is pacifism with flash? In my opinion, not very good. That's like a C in like a normal in a C plus in like a normal set. The set may be more like, I don't know,
nothing
like
special.
Yeah, nothing special. How much does the protection add to it? A little, tiny bit. I don't think this card is particularly special. You can use this for modified synergies, but I'm going to guess that you would want other cards instead. I'm going to bet that this ends up in your deck. It's because you need it to bridge synergy gaps and not because you're excited to play it. So I'm putting this at a D+.
In a normal set, this would be not a filler card, I think. In this one, I'm okay with D+, maybe C-. I mean, the thing is, like with Eldrazi being here, you're kind of gonna want this. You're gonna want some removal spells, right, to deal with the big boys. So I'm gonna give it a C-, I think, just because of that. Expel the Unworthy for 1 and a white. It's a sorcery that says choose target creature with mana value 3 or less and exile it. If the kicker was paid for 2 and a white, so that's 5 in total, you can choose any creature. And for both modes, its controller gains life equal to its mana value. The set is so synergistic, but there are also a lot of ETB effects. Sword to Plowshare at home, very much. Very much. Sorcery speed and costs mana, yeah. I don't like it. I think white is gonna have some good aggressive strategies, so I really don't like this one. 5 mana is so much, 2 mana is fine for this, like mana value 3 or less, I guess. I still think the removal is gonna be kind of important because there are a lot of synergy pieces in the set. I'm on a D for this one. I don't like it.
I think this one is better than Dog Umbra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Your opponent, notably, just to be clear, doesn't gain the life if you don't pay the kicker cost, right?
I think you do. They do. It's just instead choose the target creature.
Okay, yeah, reading. They gain life. Oh, that's crap.
Yeah, that's crappy. Why is this not an instant?
Oh. I'm putting this on a D+.
Okay.
Are you putting this on a D?
On a D, yeah. We've talked about like power creep, but maybe we didn't see it right away.
Doesn't this look like a normal card to you?
Yeah.
It looks like a normal set card.
Normal set bad card. Dog Umbra is like much bad. It's like pacifism, but then it has flash, but then it can also protect your creature, so that's kind of cool.
Hexgold Slith. 1 white, 2 mana for a creature Slith. It's a 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, get 2 energy. Whenever it attacks, you may pay 2 energy. If you do, it gains first strike until end of turn. When it deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on it. This will snowball, and it's pretty hard to block. Pretty hard to block, you know? Like, it's not particularly... Well, it really depends on how the stats line up in the format, right? Like, there are certainly some sets that are, like, filled with 1/3s, you know? Where I'm like, okay, this card doesn't actually get in there that often. I personally don't have the knowledge to know whether or not it's that kind of set. I don't think it is, based on my cursory glance over things. But when this gets rolling, it gets rolling, right? 1 hit on the opponent. You drop this on turn 2, your opponent really wants to stop it or remove it. Otherwise, it gets so much harder to block with every hit. So much harder to block. And that's, frankly speaking, really annoying. Like, that's really annoying gameplay.
That is annoying.
You know, like a single counter, and then this thing becomes like so much harder to block. And it's a +1/+1 counter too. Like, typically speaking, with first striking things like we saw with the airings, like, it was really annoying, but you could double block it, right? And you hope and cross your fingers your opponent doesn't have a trick. But this one, it gains toughness too, as well, when you start snowballing. So like double blocking like now becomes like out of the question, because you're not even going to win that double block. It's pretty good. It's a very good aggressive 2-drop for the energy based decks. That's even discounting the fact that this has an ETB effect. So you draw it later in the game, you can channel this into another creature like that. Like, energy is a legitimate ETB, even though it has no immediate board impact on this card itself. You should see gaining energy as somewhat close to immediate impact. So this card is really, really good. I think this is a B-.
Ooh, B-, same like the format.
Yeah, I think this is a really good. This really good aggressive 2-drop.
The thing's like it has 1 toughness, right? So how hard is it to block really? Huh?
How hard is it to block?
Yeah.
Like, on turn 2, extremely.
Yeah, but then it gets in once and then it's just a 3/2.
Then it's a 3/2 with first strike.
No. It gets first strike only when you use energy.
No, you're right. It's not an activated ability. No, you're right. You're right.
I think, yeah. Okay. Now I understand your grade.
No, you're right. You're right. It's not an activated ability. That's expensive. I'm way less high on this card. I don't know why I thought it was an activated ability, because I can't read.
That
obviously
would be horrible.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, that's why I'm complaining about the gameplay of this card. I'm like, this card is freaking miserable to play against. But
Yeah,
I'm like,
that
oh,
would be
it's
really
fine.
bad.
I don't care. I don't care about it. It's like a C.
I mean, it's a good 2-drop. It's all around. It gives you energy. It gets you a modified creature if you need that. So that's pretty cool. It can snowball, right, with some help of removal or something. I'm okay on a C or C+. We're gonna see like C+ in a normal set for sure. Yeah, I'm okay with a C+. I'm gonna go with C+, because it's kind of all arounder. It works everywhere. Fine. Inspired Inventor for 2 and white. It's a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, choose 1. You get 3 energy. Put a +1/+1 counter on any creature, or create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token. So it has Fabricate, but you can put a +1/+1 anywhere, and you can get 3 energy. This is what I'm talking about. Like, we have called the Shredder Reward a set of pretty high power level for its time, and still kind of okay in terms of power level. But then this one is like, it can be a 3/3. It can put that counter anywhere. It can make that token, so 2 bodies, and it can also give you energy. So it kind of works everywhere as well. But I don't think it's amazing. It works in modified, works in energy, works in go wide artifacts, I guess. Yeah, curving this into 4 mana put counters things. I wanna see, it's fine. I don't think it's a 3-drop that you need, but it's gonna be fine in any deck.
Bread and butter bridge card between archetypes. Yeah, solid. C.
Does everything.
Jolted Awake. White for a sorcery. Choose up to 1 target artifact or creature in your graveyard. You get 2 energy. Then you may pay any amount of energy equal to that card's mana value. If you do, return it to your graveyard from your graveyard to the battlefield. Cycling 2. This one's really interesting to see where this ends up. I think a big question is like, hey, are you happy with this in an aggressive deck? In like an aggressive energy-based deck? I think you are. Like, let's say your 2-drop trades with your opponent, right? And then you get to double spell, like on a later turn with this, and like get your 2-drop or 3-drop back. I think that's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. In other sort of decks that, let's think about Azorius too. Like if you have an Azorius like more utility, for example, like a more utility-based creature that like gets energy and value off of energy, something evasive otherwise, right? Like the gold, like I don't know, like a gold flying uncommon or something like that. You can jolt it awake. It's solid, and it has a reasonable bailout mode. I think this is powerful enough for this just to be a pretty generically good card if you have an energy-based deck. I kind of think this one wants a ceiling, because if I don't have energy in my deck, I don't want it.
I really don't want a ceiling. I think this card is just garbage in any deck.
You don't like this card. I think this card's pretty solid. So I'm gonna give this one like a C-, because I kind of don't want it in mass a lot, but I think it's.
Why is this solid? Good. Like we've had like 2 mana return, 3-drop or less, and gave it a flying counter, stuff like that. In lower power levels.
1 mana.
Yeah. In lower power level sets, and it was kind of whatever. I mean, it is 1 mana, but like you can only return a 2-drop unless you got extra energy somehow, and then sure, that can be okay. I think you're usually using the energy as well. You can get like 3 energy from the solar transformer, but how fast are you putting things in the graveyard? Like, you're not milling, you're not looting that much. I think there's like 1 blue card that's good at looting. You can cycle the Eldrazi, yeah, but then are you really like 7 energy then?
It's a lot.
If
you can do it, it's gonna feel busted, but that's a lot of energy.
Like, is it even gonna feel busted? You're not casting that Eldrazi, and you get 1 big body, but now all your cards that provide you energy, they lost their effects. Because most of the cards that provide energy, they have some good effects when you use the energy. So you lose all of their effects. You make them into vanilla creatures just to play that 1 card. That is not even broken. Right? D- for me. What do you give it in the end?
I'll go down to D+. I kind of like it.
Izzet has energy multiplier, so you're splashing one of those cards that need. Mandi.
Pretty convincing though.
I'm convincing you?
No, it's pretty. It's yeah. You've made a good argument, convincing argument.
Okay, so still D+.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was in a C- before.
Mandibular Kite for a white. It's a living weapon. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has flying. Living weapon means you get a 0/0 germ. And this equipment equips to it. So you're basically getting a 0/0 creature. It gets +1/+1 flying right away. So it's a 1/1 flyer for 1. But for 4 mana, you can give something flying and +1/+1. I mean, this is kind of good with those extra counters that you're putting. It's actually nice to equip this on your growing 2-drop 2/1. That's also already kind of good. It's modified. It works with artifacts. I can see this. I can see this being good. And then you have those. You have that 4 mana 3/3, so you really want to like play 2 creatures, and you want to put every single one of those in your deck. Some of the archetypes are gonna be so snowbally, man. I think this is a good card. I'm gonna give it like C or C plus. What I give the 2-1? I gave it a C plus.
You gave that one a C plus.
I'm on a C for this one.
Okay. I think this card is better than the Slith. It's a beating. It's a pretty dang beating.
Beating a 1/1.
Yeah. I mean, you start off with anything on turn 1, curve out, then slap this on your 3-drop later. Good. You can even slap it on the 3-drop even when you're not ready to. Like this doesn't have to die first. You can just move it over whenever you're ready.
Are you talking
you're not
on
even
turn
losing.
4? Like you're saying 3-drop because you do it on turn 4?
No. That's later. Whenever you want to get a good attack in.
Well, why do you put it on the 3-drop? Are you saying you're putting it on a 3-drop? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, as an example of something you could do.
Oh, literally any
pretty
creature.
Powerful.
But okay.
Any creature.
So 3-drop doesn't.
Any creature.
Okay.
So yeah, I didn't mean to specifically call it a 3-drop.
Like, why is the 3-drop?
I put it on 3-drop to give it +1/+1 and flying, Lola.
Okay, 3-drop. That's very funny.
Yeah. I mean, but like, even think about a vanilla 3/3, right? Like, it's a beating. You turn it into a 4/4 flying. Good.
Yeah, it's super slow beating though.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a late game for your fast decks, for very fast decks.
Yeah. C plus. Nyxborn Unicorn.
There is like that white uncommon that says modified creatures have. There are some uncommons in white that really care about modified. One of them gives modified creatures lifelink, so anything you equip here is gonna have lifelink. And the other one says that whenever a modified creature you control dies, you manifest the top card of your library, so that's pretty crazy synergy. And yeah, like those are really good. There are good things with this modified team. What do you give this?
C plus.
I'm actually okay with a C plus. I think it's gonna be important in those decks. Question is, how many do you want? Is like, because you're not gonna be equipping that easily. I mean, now, I think I'm gonna give it a C. I think it's a C for me. C, because I don't think you want too many. 1/1 flyer not that good. Kind of good in when you want to go wide and put +1/+1 counters. But then the uncommon cards are what cares about modified. It's the uncommons, so you can't be sure you're gonna get them. So C for this one. And then 4 to equip. Once you have 1 on the battlefield, that's good. But 2, you don't care much about it. So
has extremely strong diminishing return. Nyxborn Unicorn. It's 1 white for a 2/2 with bestow, 3 and a white. And it has mentor, which means that when it attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature with lesser power. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has mentor. Let's examine this as a 2-drop. It's a bear that you can grow your 1 power creatures that are somehow attacking, and also your 0 power creatures that are attacking. It's not particularly great. That's not super strong. It's kind of whatever. But the power comes from bestowing upon something larger, and then that way you can actually start snowballing stuff. It's all right. I think this is all right. It's okay. I don't think this is anything special. Bestow means that you also modify because it counts as an aura, right?
yeah.
But I'm a little, or rather, it also counts as modified if you do add a +1/+1 counter in something, and it like survives long enough to have relevance.
It modifies the 1/1 flyer.
Yeah, it modifies the 1/1, which is fine. I'm not particularly jazzed. Well,
Yeah, it's great with a bird that
take a step
supports
back.
too. That's also kind of nice.
Yeah, let's take a step back. Bestowing for 4 mana to give something +2/+2, aka enabling a pretty large combat, is strong. That's a strong effect.
And
It's
when it
pretty
dies, when that creature dies, this is gonna be become a 2/2.
Bear. It's a bear, which is fine. I think this is a C. I think it's a totally solid 2-drop.
I think it's a C plus. Oh, by the way, this is where against this when you bestow, this is where white removal is gonna be super fine, and blue removal is gonna be super fine. Because it never gets removed, it just stays there. I like this, I think this is C+. I do really like this. It's gonna be so good with that 1/1 as well. And then the floor is like you play a 2-drop, which is fine. If you have Eldrazi tokens, you can make them bigger with Mentor as well. But you gotta attack with them, so that's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Rose-Coat Knight for 4 and a white. It's Vigilance 3/4. Wow. And when it enters the battlefield, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact or enchantment card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. If you didn't put a card into your hand this way, put a +1/+1 counter on this guy. So 4/5 Vigilance modified is horrible for 5 mana. 5 mana 3/4, get a card. Get a card. From top 6 is pretty bad as well, I think. Yeah. I don't think you play this. Yeah, I don't think you play this. In some slower sets, I don't think white is very slow. These cards can perform better in some slower sets in slower colors, right? If you're trying to just attack, and this is kind of crappy. Yeah, 4/5 is really bad, I think. Even more if it's modified. But then like drawing the card is it's a better effect, but then you got a 5 mana 3/4. How many of those can you put in the deck? There are a lot of artifacts and enchantments. I mean, this is crap in this set. I think this is really bad in this set. I'm on a D. On a D, just a D.
Okay, I'm on a D minus.
Yeah, go to D minus for me as well. Just go to D minus.
I can't imagine a deck being happy with putting Rose-Cotton Knight ever in their deck.
Is this better than most of Eldrazi cards?
No, I think the Eldrazi cards are pretty good.
Okay.
We were looking at Solstice Zealot. 2 and a white, 3 mana total for Rhino Cleric. It's a 2/3. When it enters the battlefield, get 2 energy and pay energy tap it and pay energy to tap target creature. The stats are kind of crap on this. It's nice that it generates energy. 2 energy is not a ton. It's a nice bonus. You can use its energy obviously for other stuff, which is fine. Tapping things to get them out of the way is fine, but like it's not like you can perpetually keep something down to like stall until you draw your removal spells, because you're paying a real cost. You're paying a material cost here in order to keep something at bay. So I am not in love with Solstice Zealot. I think it's a filler card for energy decks. I think this is a D+.
Yeah, D+. Filler card for energy decks. Really bad stat line, and yeah, this is a real cost. This kind of works in a slow white deck, very slow white deck. If that deck exists, this is nice. But I don't know, white really doesn't feel like it wants to be slow. It really doesn't feel like it wants to be slow. It feels like it wants to snowball, baby. Throb and Charm for 1 and a white, choose 1. Throb and Charm deals damage equal to twice the number of creatures you control to target creature at instant speed. Or destroy target enchantment, or exile any number of target players' graveyards. Exile your opponent's graveyard. But it also triggers a crime. So, I mean, this is good. Like you have 1 creature deals 2 damage. You have 2 creatures that deals 4 damage, and I mean, this is gonna be killing things. Yeah, we're gonna be seeing the power creep 3 mana 2/3s. I mean, there are a lot of power creep cards. Man, they have maybe chilled out with some of these cards. The uncommons are incredibly powerful, though. You're gonna see, uncommons are incredibly powerful. But Modern Horizons 2 felt like it was higher power level, which I don't really care. Just the set needs to be good. The power level doesn't matter for the set. This one is very high power level, I believe. But it's more like, how do the cards work in combination with other cards in the set? This is good. This is good. Either kills an enchantment if you want that, or you kill most of the creatures. Kind of conditional, but not a bad removal spell. It's twice the number of creatures. Yeah, I'm okay with this. Instant speed. Yeah, I'm on a C+ with this one. What about you, Scotty?
C plus as well. Seems reasonable to me.
No, it's a good removal spell. Gonna be very efficient.
Wing it. 1 and a white for 2 mana for an instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Put a flying counter on it. Scry 1. Specifically, flying counter makes it much different than just a normal combat trick because it'll keep beating in. This is a solid aggressive combat trick, but nothing I am particularly looking to define an archetype, and not something I'm going to be taking particularly highly. It's a D+ for me.
+2/+2. It continues flying forever and scry 1. So that with the 2/1. Scatanada.
What'd you just call me?
Scatanada.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, it's quite good.
That on a 2/1 is like, yeah, you need to stop this.
Pretty good.
Very good.
D+.
I think I'm on a D+ or C- as well. Gonna start as a D+ as well. Yeah, that 2/1 is gonna be, I think, a C+. It feels pretty good.
I'm only giving this a D+ in terms of how highly I'm gonna draft this, because I don't think you're gonna need to go out of your way for this. When you cast it, it's powerful.
It is not a leap from March of Machines.
Spontaneous flight.
It's not leap from March of Machines, right? Because that was 0 mana most of the time for a +2/+2 flying.
Oh yeah, acrobatic leap or something.
No, some leap, yeah. Maybe, yeah. Acrobatic, aerial leap. I don't know. We're gonna go through the uncommons as well, Scotty. You have time for that?
Yep.
And then bedtime for you?
Yep.
Are you feeling okay?
I'm feeling okay.
Do you love me?
I'll think about it.
Okay. Johnny
like
fells the
2.5 hours late
Godsire.
for a date today.
Sorry, what?
Now I was joking that you were 2.5 hours late for a date today.
Okay. 3 and
about
double.
breaking
No, I said the earliest. This time I said earliest. I covered all the angles. So, before we go into uncommons, what do you think about a white commons? How do you feel about them?
Kind of underwhelming. Besides, like, to be honest, you came out really hard on Area Auxiliary, the first card, and then I didn't have a great image in my brain of all the commons of white stacked up next to each other. So I'm like, okay, this is really good, but in relation to the other commons, it's gonna be probably one of the better ones. But I didn't expect to be like the better in my opinion by far.
You didn't expect to be
'cause
better? Better? Can you repeat?
Well, I didn't. I expected it to be like one of the better commons. I didn't expect it to be the best common by far.
Oh, really? I did. I expected it to be the best common in white.
Okay. Well, I mean, I thought the other cards were going to be like slightly better, but
But why does it feels like white is a no for late game? It feels like it's like I'm gonna lose late game to other colors, so I need to be tempo based.
it does feel pretty proactive, yes.
Like the usual white. And next up,
Yeah, but
the
it's
white.
also
Yeah.
yeah, but then it's also lacking, like your best proactive removal spell to clear blockers in just white is Throbbing Charm.
I mean, you have the charm, you have the pacifism. Like if you're just attacking, that's kind of fine. Maybe you just want to protect your
Yes.
creature rather. You have 2 in 1. So sometimes you're gonna be
Maybe
like,
I'm
okay.
not giving Dog Umbra enough credit for protecting your large stacked up modified creatures.
Yeah,
right?
I can see that.
Let's
that's
say the
gonna
play
be fine.
pattern is add a bunch of +1/+1 counters onto one creature and start bashing in, and then you can protect it, Dog Umbra.
Umbra is only for destruction, right?
I believe it's also for damage.
Oh, I mean, damage destroys, right? So
Yeah, not exiles.
yeah, okay. Johnny fells the Godsire. For 3 and double white, it's a saga. So on the first lore counter, you exile target creature on opponent controls with power 3 or greater. Okay, basically any creature. On the second lore counter, create a 2/1 white cat warrior creature token, then put a vigilance counter on a creature you control. On the third one, target creature you control gains double strike until end of turn. Okay, right away, 5 mana, kinda a lot, you're killing basically anything. Man, these Eldrazi cards, there is enough removal for that. You're killing basically anything. Okay, that's pretty cool. Then you make a 2-1 and give vigilance to anything. It's also modified. And then something gets double strike, you can kill them. That's incredible. This is incredible. I'm gonna give this a B. B?
Yeah, I'm on a B as well.
B, yeah, B. Maybe even
Yeah,
a B
I'm on a
plus,
B as well.
but B for now.
It's really
Like
good.
you're killing something, you're getting a 2-1 body, and then something is gonna have like vigilance and flying, sorry, double strike for 1 turn, but yeah. Best common being a flying card, another common being a good flying card. This feels like what White wants to do, it's fine. Like you play all of your early creatures and then you play your 5-drop that also can push damage.
Charitable Levy, 1 white, 2 mana total. Nice guy, Raphael Levy. It's an enchantment. For non-creature spells, cast 1 more to cast. Whenever a player casts a non-creature spell, put a collection counter on Charitable Levy. Then, if there are 3 or more collection counters on it, sacrifice it. If you do, draw a card. Then you may search your library for a plains card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle.
Why?
This has a lot of text, and I don't think it adds up to enough to be worth 2 mana. It also affects you, by the way. It also affects you. It's both players. This is an F.
Yeah, why would you pay mana for this? You're paying 2 mana. Like you are paying that mana. And not affecting the board. What's your reward? At one point you're gonna be getting a plains and a card, so it's like a 2-for-1. Yeah, this is just an F. Don't play this in your decks. Envoy of the Ancestors. For 2 and a white, it's a 2/3 that has Outlast white. So for white and a tap, as a sorcery speed, you can put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Modified creatures you control have lifelink. It's kind of a weird one because it's white, which kind of wants to be aggressive, and then it's not really aggressively statted. But you do win all of the races when you play this. You're kind of winning the races. It's so easy to modify in white, I think. So when you're racing against somebody, this is incredible. When you just want to kill them, this kind of is not great. There was a 3-2 in KTK, yeah. I think it's fine. I think I'm gonna give it a C. You just win the races, and then like I'm gonna give it a C plus actually, because then you can just have those equipment, living weapon equipment, and you can just be super happy moving it around and just making flyers, killing opponent with any creature because it's flying and lifelink now. So you're kind of making those creatures a bomby. So I'm on a C plus. I think it's good.
I think you nailed the most important part about this card by far. It's really matchup dependent, and it will be the best card in your deck in certain matchups, like the actual best card. But I'm probably taking it as a C plus.
C plus?
Yep.
I think the reason that the 4-mana 3/3 exists that puts +1/+1 counters on your creatures, and that a 1/1 flyer exists that you can give something +1/+1 flying lifelink on demand, is like even when you're playing against a slower deck, like they never kill you. Like they can have more cards, play more things, but they don't kill you. So I think that's pretty big. I think it's gonna be fine there as well.
Essence Reliquary, 2 and a white for an artifact. Tap, return another target permanent you control and all auras you control attached to it to their owner's hand. Activate only during your turn. This is for shenanigans and rebuying into the battlefield effects. You cannot use this on your opponent's turn. Like, you can't block bounce. Your opponent can just cast removal spells on their turn. So I guess technically it kind of sort of keeps your stuff safe, but like not really. If you're going for a combat trick, your opponent's still going to point a removal spell at it to like fizzle the combat trick so they don't get like too crushed by it. So it's not going to do anything like that. This is a value shenanigans card. This is a shenanigans card, and I don't want to take it really highly. I want to be wielded. I think I just want to be wield this thing. I'm taking it as like a D minus, and I think as a ceiling it could be like a C plus. Like, what are you actually rebuying with this? You know, especially in white. Sagas. Saga's fantastic. Saga's fantastic.
Sagas are fantastic.
There's some like blue stuff, I guess, that draws cards, but it's pretty dirtily. It's pretty slow. Every single time you tap this, first of all, you're paying 3 mana to do nothing, right? And then you have to pay it again. You have to play it again. Like that's so much tempo loss. You better bet that like your entire deck works with this.
I mean, it's
And then you
crazy
have
with the White
time to do
Saga.
it. It's good with White Saga. Yeah. It's good with
I
White
think it's
Saga.
just crazy.
Yeah, I'm taking this at a D-, and like as a ceiling it could be like a C+.
Okay. I kind of want to go with a B- ceiling.
B- ceiling? Sure.
Yeah. D, taking it as a D, D plus, sure. I think this card in this set, there's a lot of EDBs. I think it can do some things. If it didn't have restriction, somebody asked. Oh, I mean, the removal spells are crap now.
We've seen that mistake in the past. It's not going to happen again. Yeah, Crystal Shard. Original Mirrodin.
Ooh.
I believe it may have been the best common in the set.
What did it do?
Oh, it was by the way, it was even better than that because it could bounce your opponent's stuff.
What?
it was tap. You had to pay a blue, but then you tap it to bounce a creature unless that player paid 1. So you could if your opponent taps out for something, you could just bounce it. Crystal Shard, yeah. But then you obviously can just use it on your own stuff. You don't have to pay the 1.
Oh, it's blue tap. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Oh, that's... Wait, but return target creature to its owner's hand unless its controller pays 1.
That card is busted in half.
Okay, yeah. It has a restriction still. And a mana cost. But yeah, yeah. Okay, next up, Glyph Elemental. Get ready. It's a 1 and a white 2-drop enchantment creature. That's just a 2/2. It has Bestow, 1 and a white. I don't know if it said like Bestow is just like you play it as an aura on a creature, and when it's unattached, so the creature usually dies, you just it just continues being a creature. This has effect of whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Glyph Elemental. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each +1/+1 counter on this guy. This is an uncommon. Jesus Christ. So as a 2-drop, if you play it on turn 2, it's just gonna grow every single turn that you play a land. Plus, this set has common sacrifice lands, where you sacrifice them and then you get another land in. So it can get 2 counters. Plus, you can put this on any creature that you have and start making it bigger, and once it dies, you're still gonna get a huge creature. And it's a 2-drop. So it's really dependent, like you probably just play it on turn 2 most of the time. I can see that as a 2-drop. But then Bestow is kinda good in a lot of scenarios. This is crazy. This is the best card I've seen so far. B+?
B+.
B+. This is the craziest card so far. B+. Holy shit, it's good.
Slap this on Mandibular Kite.
Yeah, it's like not great as a... It's a lot of times it's not gonna be that great as a Bestow. But, I mean, it's just like the best 2-drop in the game probably. Oh.
Guardian of the Forgotten. 3 and a white for 4 mana for an Elephant Warrior. It's a 4/4 with Vigilance. Whenever a modified creature you control dies, manifest the top card of your library. 4 mana, 4/4. Pretty good stats. It's already a pretty solid 4-drop. Modified creature you control dies, including itself. If this is modified, this will trigger itself. So add a +1/+1 counter on this, then it'll manifest when this dies. The effect is powerful. How easy is it to get your modified creatures to die? I don't think that that's particularly easy. I believe that this card mostly makes combat really awkward for your opponent, right? It makes removal pretty awkward for your opponent. It's like a removal magnet. You have to remove this before you remove other stuff. But I don't see myself shredding the top of my deck, you know? I sort of see myself like playing this and make my trades, my attacks into my opponent like pretty advantageous to me, basically making some stuff unblockable, which is a pretty good effect. It's pretty good, but I kind of think it's worse than it reads. So I'm gonna give it a C plus.
I mean, you're getting a 4/4 vigilance for 4 mana, so it's not like you're getting some kind of thing that just must have the synergy. It's also you have the 1/1 for 1 mana, right?
1/1 for 1 mana, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. What if you move things away from a modified creature? Does it
I
count
believe
as
it's
modified?
no longer modified.
Huh?
I don't think it's modified anymore. If the germ dies,
The gem just dies. It's not modified. Okay.
I think the germ just dies.
Because it dies once it's not modified anymore.
Yes.
You have the 4 mana 3/3 that makes 2 modified creatures. You have the 3 mana, what can be a 3/3, but modified. Modified in other colors, more living weapons. You have Bestow. That 4 mana 3/3 they just put counters. Like, it's so easy to have a lot of modified creatures. Like, this is gonna be great. I think this is gonna be amazing. You can also just oh, you know what's kind of interesting about like that 3 mana card? Like, you can just always have that 1/1 germ. How many there is not that much sacrifice in the format, like where...
I got a question, a hypothetical for you, Lola.
Mhm.
If this said modified creatures can't be blocked, would you think it's better or worse?
Better.
I think it's pretty close to that.
I mean, it would be broken, right? You have a 4 mana 3/3 that makes 2 unblockables and makes them bigger. And
yeah, I genuinely think it's like pretty close to that.
And you have 2 mana 2/1 that grows every time it hits the opponent. It would be close.
I think in terms of how it messes up combat, it'll feel in terms of the advantage that you get afterwards, like it's extremely hard to block something and come out in a winning position.
But you also have so you're upping the grade then, right?
Yeah, I'm going to B minus.
Yeah, I'm kind of on a B for this one. I think this is gonna be really good. And you can just put a counter here, because it's not other modified creature. And every time you equip something, there's a lot of modified, even in the other colors, and especially in combination with white. Yeah, this might be like one of the best uncommons, but B for now.
I think it's worse than the common bird.
Sorry, what?
I think it's worse than the common bird.
Yeah, could be. Indebted Spirit. For white, it's a 1/1 that has Afterlife 1, which means when it dies, you get a 1/1 flyer. That's white and black, sure. You can bestow it for 3. And enchanted creature has +1/+1 and Afterlife 1. And this one is interesting. I actually talked to one of my students about it a little bit. It's like, how good is a 1 mana 1/1 with Afterlife 1? That's a big question. Like, how good is it? When we had the Shadows over Innistrad with Shadows of the Past add-ons, it was great. But that's a big question. Like, how good is that? And how good is it? How often are you gonna make something +1/+1 and give it Afterlife 1? Because if that part is the usual and good, right? If you can give something +1/+1 Afterlife 1, and once that creature dies, you get a 1/1 flyer and a 1/1 that makes a 1/1 flyer when it dies. That's a lot. That's a lot of 1/1s. That's a lot. But I don't know how good it's gonna be in the set. Yeah, it's Doom Traveler, but how good is it gonna be in this set? I'm not huge on this one. I don't know what grade to give it. It's really weird because you're not sacking that much, I think. I think it's not bad. I mean, it's kind of good, but as a 1-drop, is this better than just a 1/1 flyer where you can move the modifications around and it's already modified creature? It's not Link Breaker because you get a 1/1 flyer. I'm actually not that huge on this one. I'm gonna C minus. What do you think?
I'm a little bit higher. Like there's like the common black. I think it's obviously best in Orzhov when you have some ways to sack it. I also agree there's not like a ton of ways,
But
but you
what are
have
the
some
ways
synergy.
to sack it in Orzo?
I mean, it's like the black one drop that. Oh, you have to sack them. No, you can sack any creature, right? You can sack any creature for the bone splinters like effect.
Isn't that uncommon?
Oh, is it uncommon? My bad.
Yeah, that's uncommon. Like there's kind of nothing on common in Blade that sacrifices, except that 2/1, I guess. I mean, that's kind of cool.
It's not a lot. It's less than a normal like, if I were to say black white has like a sacrifice theme, right? It seems like it's way less supported in this set.
Way less support in this set. C minus. What about you?
C minus.
It's probably gonna be good. Like it has a lot of effects, and what do you give it?
C minus.
It's probably gonna. It could be better than that. It just has a lot of things for just a 1-drop, or that you can also bestow. Okay. Next up, Scotty.
Metastatic Evangel. 1 and a white for 2 mana. For Phyrexian Human Cleric, it's a 3/1. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, proliferate. This one's interesting. A 2 mana 3/1 on its own is not that great. Whenever any creature, it can't be a token, but whenever like any creature enters the battlefield, you get to add additional +1/+1 counters. You get an additional energy if you have an energy counter, which is pretty dang nice. This does a lot for a 2-drop. This does a lot for a 2-drop.
Yeah.
But it does need additional stuff, I guess. But I think you're just going to be getting that stuff naturally. I think this is a lot of value piled into a 2-drop. This is a B- for me.
So you play the Area Auxiliary, you get a 3/3 flyer, and you put 2 +1/+1 counters on 2 creatures.
Yeah, because you get to stack it.
Yeah, because you choose that the trigger of putting +1/+1 counters goes first, and then you proliferate after that.
This is a pretty wild sequence.
That's kind of wild. That's very wild. That's kind of amazing. That's really good. I'm gonna B- as well. This is amazing. This is it. This is it. Yeah. This does a lot. Kind of weird. Yeah, it's a little bit weird that it's not. I think it would be better as a 2/2, so you can make it into 4/4 and start attacking once you play that 3/3. But in the end, you just get a 3/1. It's not the end of the world if that's it. Master the Departed for 2 and a white.
Sorry, go ahead. No, my bad. Go.
For 2 and a white, it's an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. And if you have Morbid, then at the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, populate. Which means create a token that's a copy of a creature token you control. So, at the beginning of your end step, if any creature died, you get to make a copy of a token. You make a copy of a 1/1. So like if you traded, you make 2 1/1s right away. Right?
If you traded, you get 2 1/1s.
If you attacked
Yes.
with your 2/1, for example, and
they traded, yes, you get 2 1/1s.
you trade, you get 2 1/1s. And then every other turn, if any creature dies, you're getting more 1/1s at least. That's not bad. Man, it'd be so nice if you had more sacrifice things. But there is no card that sacrifices, that has a reactivatable sacrifice effect. There is nothing, I think. But I still think it's pretty good. Like they really want to block that thing. And just keep attacking. I want to see. I think it's fine.
Okay, I'm like way lower. I'm on a D. You really got to get that turn 3 trade off, because I don't think this is an engine, not in this set. So like now you're hinging on the fact that you're okay attacking on turn 3 and you're not on the back foot. And it's a huge difference between getting it and not, right? Like 2 1/1s, and then you can keep attacking. That's like decent. not getting it and you're on the back foot, nothing. That's nothing. Garbaggio.
And there's a white 2/1 that makes you both sacrifice, I guess.
You mean a black one, right?
The black 2-drop, yeah.
Yeah. D.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I think in white your creatures are gonna have to be blocked, is what I think. Okay. And then in other colors, like you kill something, and even in white, and then you're making 1/1s. I think it's fine. I think it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be good. Scotty?
Proud Pack Rhino, 2 and a white for creature Rhino. It's a 3/3. When it enters, choose 1. Put a shield counter on target permanent, or proliferate. So this can't proliferate tokens it makes itself, in particular. But if you don't have anything, you can just put a shield counter on itself, right? So it's a bubbly 3-drop. That's a 3/3. That's good as a floor.
The 3/3 with
good.
shield is amazing, right?
Yeah, that's pretty dang good. And the time that you choose the proliferation counter is when you're like enabling a really big attack with your other +1/+1 countered creatures. Adds the extra benefit. If you do have like energy, you get an additional energy. But the shield counter, I think, is the main thing, right? You can even shield counter an attacking creature. It doesn't have to be this. This is nice. It's flexible. It's quite strong.
You can put this on a saga, so it never dies, but it's kind of useless.
You can put it on your land and have that bubble stay there forever. Yeah, this is a C+ for me. It's a really solid card.
I think it's a B-. This is great. Oh, Saga Sacrifice. Yeah, Saga Sacrifice. That's true. Saga Sacrifice themselves. I think this is a B-. I think this is great. Like just a 3/3 with shield is at least a B- for me, and then like proliferate is can be great. Either energy or +1/+1 counters. Shield counter on something else might be even better. I think this is incredible card. At least a B-. At least. Probably a B. Probably a B. Let's give it B right now. B. This is a B. I think this is incredible.
B.
Huh?
B.
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 Static Prison for a white. It's an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent on opponent controls until this thing leaves the battlefield. You also gain 2 energy. But at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, sacrifice prison unless you pay energy. I think this is absolute garbage. So it's gonna be there for you play it that turn, next turn, and then next turn, and then you're gonna have to be pumping in the energy. For sure, it's good tempo, but you really need to close the game fast. Like I think in the sideboard when you're playing maybe against like a lot of Reach, Eldrazi, but why not just put the, I don't know, common removal, just pacifism. It's gonna stay there for 1 more mana at least. I think this is an F. I think you don't put this in your deck. I think it's an F.
I'm kind of on the opposite end. I think a lot of the energy decks want to be beating down. And you don't have to pay the cost when they're dead.
That's true.
You don't got to pay the costs if you remove their face first. And I think this does a decent job of removing face. I don't think it's fantastic, nor do I want to take it particularly highly, nor do I think anyone else wants it at the table. So I'm not taking this like super highly. I'm taking this at a D+, but I think it's playable.
D+, I don't know. We got our last uncommon in white.
Voltstorm Angel. 3 white for a 5 mana angel. It's a 4/4 with flying. When it enters, you get 3 energy. At the beginning of combat in your turn, you may pay 2 energy. When you do, choose 1. Voltstorm Angel gains lifelink and vigilance until end of turn. Or other creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. That's pretty big. A 5 mana 4/4 flying with no additional effect is kind of outstatted these days. It's nothing special. It's fine. But you can put that energy towards other stuff. I'm gonna stop saying that because I'm gonna say that with any other card. I'm gonna say that every single time because it's true. Getting 1 hit in of vigilance and lifelink is big. That's pretty big, right?
That's
the
huge.
fact that you not only gain the 4 life, but you also gain the quote unquote gain the life by whatever you're holding back on blocks. So it's like a big swing on the turn of hits, and you can do that multiple times if you have energy. It's like a pretty good thing to invest in.
Yeah.
Right? You play Voltstorm Angel after developing your board. You have a couple leftover energy. Let's say you have 4 energy now. You are now kind of sort of dominating the race for 2 turns, which is a really, really nice effect. And then,
Everything else
if
gets
you have
+1/+1
the extra
for 2
spare energy,
turns.
you sometimes just pump everyone and kill. Nice. It's a nice top end. Am I like diving out of my way for Voltstorm Angel? I'm gonna actually say, despite all the fancy text, not really. Like, I'm gonna put it as C+, but I think it's below like the 2-drop C pluses that I gave. But I'm still gonna put it as C+.
I think it's like a B- or C+. Like, this is a 4/4 flyer. I think most of the time, unless you're racing, it's gonna be like 4/4 flyer that gives a +1/+1 to everything else on ETB, and then does it at least one more time. I think 2 times you're gonna be doing it. And you still got a 4/4. Like, it's kind of like an anthem for 2 turns, sometimes even more. And you have a 4/4 flyer, which is kind of a lot. So I can see it as being a B-. And you're kind of... White is so snowbally, so +1/+1 is gonna really matter, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna... Let's start it as a... I mean, I think it's a B-. I'm gonna give it a B-. This is good. Yeah, this is good. This is good way. This is one of the best ways to use the energy, I think. Okay. White uncommons. Pretty good. Pretty powerful. What do you think, Scotty?
A lot of them are pretty good. Actually, most of them are pretty dang good. I guess I was a little bit lower on some, specifically Mustard the Departed.
I think one thing
but
about
yeah, most of them are in the B range, some of them in the C range. Actually, you gave a lot of Bs. I gave less Bs, but pretty close to it.
You're talking like we did it like a week ago. It's one slight problem that I have with white uncommons is like basically all of them are creatures. So you're not gonna have, but they're well-setted creatures or creatures that really snowball well. So it's kind of reminiscent of like LCI and some of the previous sets where you don't really need that much removal, you don't really need that much interaction because your things are snowballing so well that you just play them out, and keep attacking just by playing more. And that's how white uncommons feel. Not like removal interaction, not great, but just doing proactive things for your side of the board, it feels really good. So yeah, I'm happy with them, pretty happy with them. White seems pretty good at being fast and being snowbally. That's gonna be... feels like white is gonna keep slower decks in check, but we're gonna see the other colors tomorrow, right, Scotty? Because you gotta go to bed.
Tomorrow.
All right. Well, any closing thoughts?
My closing thought is, what time do you want to start tomorrow?
Tomorrow...